So why is the census important? Okay, so like I said at the beginning, it's important for two major reasons. It's important not just because it's a head count, because yes, that's important, but two major things: money and power, because we live in this country. So power, when we say that, what do we mean? We're talking about political power. And so the number of people that fill out the census, that number. So if, let's say, for instance, the state, the number of people that fill out the census for this state determines how many representatives we get in the House and Congress next year. It also determines how voting districts are redrawn. So when we talk about the injustices of gerrymandering and how gerrymandering causes certain political groups to win over others, that is what we're talking about. We want to make sure that everyone is counted so that voting districts, when they're redrawn, they can be redrawn equitably, and that we can have as many elected officials as possible that are representing as much of us as it can. So in terms of power, that's why the census is important. And the second reason is funding, because money matters, unfortunately. So when it comes to funding, again, how many people fill out the census determines how much money federally and is going to be allocated to our state and our cities. Hi, Tommy. It's going to be allocated to our state and our cities and counties, and that funding literally, God, it goes towards scholarships for students. It goes towards if you have like really horrible like roads in your city or your county, goes towards that. It goes towards emergency health services. So like I was saying at the beginning, that is a great way, a great segue for a lot of folks who might be fearful right now. It's a good way to remind them of that. It also funds CDC research. So the census, in regards to the emergency health services, it's like it determines the hospital capacity. It determines how many resources clinics can get. So when we see a shortage that's happening now in this country because of this pandemic and how we are not ready or prepared when we could be, all of the information that health officials and government officials are looking at to determine how much resources should be allocated to these hospitals and things, that's information that they're using for 2010. And so we want to make sure that if a pandemic ever happens again in the next 10 years, that they have robust information from the 2020 census so they can see, okay, all these people live in this county, live in this state. That's how many resources we need to give out to this pandemic. So, yeah, Denise, that's funny. Yeah, yeah, it's sad, but ironic, for sure. Um, and so again, like it is important because Texas Rising, we're diverse. Our base is diverse and we're strong. And unfortunately, our communities are the ones that have historically gone undercounted for a long time, whether that's due to the distrust of government or that's due to a lack of outreach that is done to us, or a lot of other issues. But this is a year that we can really, really inform our communities because, I mean, this is an important year. Y'all know. Are there any other questions while we kind of wrap it? Oh, no, we have time. Any other questions or anything you want me to clarify? Again, like I was telling folks that might not have been on at the beginning, you should have gotten in the mail. Everyone should have received in the mail, I would say March 20th. Oh, hold on. So there's a question. What do you say to folks that are unsure about how to answer the sex question if they are trans, non-gender conforming, or non-binary? Yeah. So unfortunately, there's only two options, male or female. There was a fight before 2016, and it looked like it was going to be promising. It was a very promising hope that there would be an addition to that, a third option at least. But after 2016, that was no longer the case. And so for now, there's only two options. I would say for them, honestly, to just choose the one that feels the most, I don't even say correct, because, they should just choose the one they feel the most comfortable in choosing, unfortunately. Neither of those is going to be a comfortable option for trans or non-binary folks, but I guess I would say choose the one where you want the most resources to go. It's kind of how I tell people to answer that. Thank you for that question. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of us, when we talk about the census and when we learn about it, we do know that the census is very restricting. Identity is very complex, and unfortunately, the government just is always behind when it comes to how folks identify. You're welcome. To how folks identify, but there are fights that are happening in between the years, right? That, again, are promising, but they take a lot of work. So unfortunately, like with the sex question, there's just two options. With the race question, there's not a robust one for Latinx folks or people who are Middle Eastern and North African, because again, they also get counted under white. Are there any other questions? So like I was telling some folks that might not have been at the beginning, there have been two mailers, or everyone should have received March 12th. The sun is hitting. This in the mail. And this, if you only got this is for people who are internet first. And so that pretty much means the census has deemed your area like pretty stable when it comes to technology and you having access to those resources, to digital resources, enough to complete this and over online. So when you open this small letter up, it'll have, it'll tell you to go to the census website. So again, my2020census.gov, and then it'll give you your unique ID. For folks who might have just thrown this away thinking it was junk mail, let them know that they can still fill it out online. They don't need their unique ID. All they need to do is go to the website and put in their address. That's it. And then it will take them directly to their questionnaire. Let's say you are telling your family has responded to the census and they're like, oh my God, I forgot to add your brother. Maybe he's 5. You can go back, fill out another questionnaire, and add the 5-year-old brother, and then finish your survey. Again, the Census Bureau has ways to see duplicates and make sure that those duplicates merge together. So a question was, what if we don't receive a mail out? Again, if you don't receive a mail out, you can just go to my2020census.gov and you can fill it out that way. So you don't have to be restricted with the unique ID. Because the census, ultimately, they don't know who lives in what household, so they just ID people by the address. Any other questions? So, yeah, you're welcome, Denise. So there's actually a second mailer that you might get from the Census Bureau. I live in an internet choice area, so that means if the Census Bureau deems your area to be lacking in digital and technological services, they'll go ahead and send the paper form. So the paper form is in English and Spanish. The front part of the blue part is in English, and then you'll see a green part in Spanish. And you can go ahead and fill that out. There's 9 questions. And it comes with a return envelope for folks. And then a nice little FAQ guide. And then for folks who don't speak English or Spanish, it gives a list of 12 languages that lets them know that they can go to the census website or that they can call online to talk to a translator to fill out the census to help them with that. Any other questions? Yo, the sun is hot. Yo, Texas is ridiculous. Yeah, so for folks that might have hopped on after I said this, A few asks that we want to have from folks who are on the video live today are obviously to fill out the census, right? And then invite 3 friends or 5 or your whole friend group to also fill out the census and let them know what the link is. And then the second ask is to go to our Texas Rising website so texasrising.org/act/census to fill out the pledge to let us know that you're going to be counted. And also, if you want to take a selfie or if you want to kind of highlight the census, you can go ahead and tag us. You can do hashtag HTownCounts if you live in Houston. You can add Texas Rising Counts 2020. Just make it your own and make sure that we push the word out for sure. Any other questions that I might have missed? For sure. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Ivy. For students that want a presentation, I can go ahead and send that on Slack. If you're not a student, oh, thank you, Denise. I can go ahead and send that PowerPoint on Slack. Also, again, we'll be posting a lot of census things in the upcoming weeks. So people can get involved, whether that's text banking, phone banking, working on a census video for the census, things like that. Hi, is it Joe? Any other questions? Any other questions as we wrap up today? Y'all, it is hot. Let me go ahead and it's over here. Okay. Okay, so Ivy has a question. With COVID-19, will people be door knocking to remind folks to fill out the census? So the Census Bureau has postponed, or has that worked? Yeah. So it's been postponed for sure for 2 weeks. So the scheduling has just been pushed back 2 weeks, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it does kind of hinder operations. So what they're doing though, because a lot of folks are scared to come into contact with strangers, they're really pushing people to answer it online. But we do know that no matter how much we push the census, there are going to be folks who are left behind and who don't self-respond. So there will be enumerators or census takers coming out into the community. And that will start, there's been an updated timeline, so let me check real quick. May 28th through August 14th, census workers will be coming to visit people's homes who haven't responded. And not only does that cause a lot of concern for folks who just have distrust in the government or who are not used to people coming into their neighborhoods, or now with this pandemic, people are kind of fearing for their safety. We really want to urge people to self-respond before May 28th. Okay, there's another question. Is it true that people now have until, so you can fill out the census until, August 14th. And then that's when, so you have until August 14th to fill out the census. Any other questions? Again, today is Census Day, so we're already online. So after this video call, if everyone could just, again, do a quick filter or do a quick shout out, add those hashtags that I asked, go to our pledge at texasrising.org /act/census, and just let your folks know, let us know that you're gonna count, you're pledged to count, and also let folks know who haven't filled out the census to fill it out. A lot of my friends I know are busy and they haven't filled it out, but I've been hounding them. So just let folks know for sure. It really does. It's 9 questions. It really does take 5 minutes or less for one person. If you have a bigger family, it might take, on average, it takes 10 minutes. Hello. Hey, Joe. But yeah, I want to thank everyone who hopped on this live. Um, Let me know if you have any questions. You can always contact me directly. Hey Ray. My email is lisa@tfn.org. And you can ask me any census related questions. If you have a certain question about your specific community that maybe that wasn't answered here, you can go ahead and let me know and I can relay that information to you. If I don't have it, I can find it out for you. I will find it. That is my job. Yeah, I'll just let you know.